Team-based learning is a little bit of the flip the classroom model. So essentially that's sort of a buzzword that's going around education these days. And so what it means to a resident is that they get their pre-reading ahead of time. So whatever it is that the situation is that we're going to go over that day, they actually obtain all the background information first and they prepare that and they come to the session ready to apply that knowledge. So what we do is we divide them up into teams. It consists of all 4 years of residency. So they're interns, second years, third years, and fourth years on the team, and they receive what's called application exercises. So essentially more complex problems that help them apply the medical knowledge to a specific situation. Everybody brings a different perspective. So when you're an intern, really, you're just trying to figure out what's going on and how do I use this knowledge. And so when you work on a team with more of the senior residents, I think they can give you some insight as to how this really looks in the emergency department, how a patient really looks with this. And I think that it takes out a little bit of the sort of maybe fear, because you're also on the same level with the resident. They're your colleague as opposed to your boss or your supervisor. So I think that the residents feel a little bit more free to discuss and not feel silly about asking questions to each other, and they really come up with different ideas of how you can apply the knowledge medically. It's been a little bit of a learning curve because it's totally different than the traditional teaching, right? I come to class, somebody puts some PowerPoint up there, I chill out for a couple hours and watch what somebody's telling me. And in this, they really have to apply their knowledge to a patient situation. And that's really what we want. We want them to grow from people that are just soaking in knowledge to how do I apply that to the patient in front of me? How do I use that knowledge? And that's what's really more important. They all know how to read, otherwise they wouldn't have gotten through medical school. So we're kind of trying to get beyond that and figure out how is it that I use this? What's relevant when I'm taking care of a patient in the emergency department? So I think when they first start off with this, it's sort of a situation of what is this and why are you doing this to me? But quickly they see the advantages of it and they've really enjoyed it. There's a lot of people that are doing this in the undergraduate setting or even in the medical education setting, but not very many people are doing it at the graduate medical education level, so at the resident level. I think it becomes pretty obvious that it's something important for you to learn when you kind of get to the emergency department and you see the patients in front of you. But in order to, I think, having an open mind and sort of trying something that's outside the box. And most of our residents are pretty into that. They get tired of sitting and listening to us talk at them. This is now they get to share their knowledge. And I think, you know, I talked about the junior residents really wanting to ask the senior residents their opinion, but I think it also gives the senior residents the ability to impart their knowledge and say, hey, when I was in your position, this is what I was, you know, this is what I was thinking about and this is what I learned was important. So they get to sort of role reverse and be the teachers. And so I think that flexibility is something that is useful, but I think something that, you know, once you kind of get used to the system is important to have.